Moctezuma II, also known as Montezuma or Moctezuma II, was the ninth emperor of the Aztec Empire and one of its most controversial and significant rulers. His reign, which lasted from 1502 to 1520, was marked by military expansion, religious reforms, and ultimately, the devastating encounter with the Spanish conquistadors led by Hernán Cortés. His rule saw both the height of Aztec power and its tragic downfall. Early life and rise to power. Moctezuma II was born around 1466 into the royal family of Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire. He was the son of Axayacatl, the sixth emperor, and a descendant of the powerful ruling lineage that traced its origins to the Toltec civilization. As a young noble, Moctezuma received rigorous training in military tactics, governance, and religious rituals, which prepared him for a future leadership role. Before becoming emperor, he served as a military general and high priest, showing his prowess in both warfare and religious affairs. His devotion to the Aztec god Huitzilopochtli, the deity of war and the sun, played a significant role in his rule. Upon the death of his uncle, Ahuitzotl, in 1502, Moctezuma was chosen as his successor, partly due to his military experience and deep religious knowledge. Reign and military expansion. As emperor, Moctezuma II ruled over an empire that stretched from central Mexico to present-day Guatemala. He continued the expansionist policies of his predecessors, launching military campaigns to subjugate neighboring city-states and strengthen the empire's dominance. However, unlike previous rulers who allowed conquered peoples some degree of autonomy, Moctezuma centralized power and replaced local leaders with his own officials. This created resentment among the tributary states, which would later contribute to the empire's downfall when the Spanish arrived. Moctezuma was deeply religious and believed in omens and prophecies. He sought to reform the priesthood and reinforced the role of human sacrifice in maintaining cosmic balance. These rituals, often performed at the Templo Mayor in Tenochtitlan, involved thousands of captives and were believed to appease the gods and ensure agricultural fertility. Encounter with the Spanish conquistadors. In 1519, Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés landed on the eastern shores of Mexico with a small force of around 600 men. News of the Spaniards' arrival quickly reached Moctezuma, who interpreted their presence through the lens of Aztec prophecy. According to legend, the god Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent deity, was expected to return from the east. Some accounts suggest that Moctezuma feared Cortés might be the reincarnation of this god, which influenced his initial approach to the foreigners. Instead of attacking the Spaniards immediately, Moctezuma sent emissaries bearing lavish gifts, including gold, turquoise, and exotic feathers, in an attempt to placate them. However, this only fueled the Spaniards' greed, as gold was particularly valuable to them. Cortés, aided by rival indigenous groups such as the Tlaxcalans, made his way to Tenochtitlan. In November 1519, Moctezuma welcomed Cortés and his men into the city with great ceremony, providing them with luxurious accommodations within the royal palace. His decision to allow the Spaniards into the heart of the empire remains one of the most debated aspects of his leadership. Captivity and fall of Tenochtitlan. Once inside Tenochtitlan, Cortés quickly seized the opportunity to take Moctezuma hostage, using him as a puppet ruler to control the vast Aztec Empire. The emperor, now a prisoner in his own palace, was forced to cooperate with the Spanish and order his subjects to accept their presence. Tensions between the Aztecs and Spaniards escalated, particularly after the Spanish massacred unarmed Aztec nobles and priests during a religious festival in 1520. This act of brutality sparked an uprising, and the city's population turned against the invaders. During the chaos, Moctezuma was brought before his people by the Spanish in an attempt to calm the rebellion. However, he was met with hostility and pelted with stones and arrows. Some accounts claim that he died from the wounds inflicted by his own people, while others suggest that the Spanish executed him when they realized he was no longer useful. Shortly after Moctezuma's death, the Spaniards attempted to flee Tenochtitlan in what became known as La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows. Many Spaniards were killed as they tried to escape across the city's causeways, weighed down by stolen gold and treasures. Despite this temporary setback, the Spanish, with the help of indigenous allies, returned with a stronger force and laid siege to Tenochtitlan. The city fell in 1521, marking the end of the Aztec Empire. Legacy and historical debate. Moctezuma II's legacy is one of both admiration and criticism. He was a powerful and intelligent ruler who expanded the empire and reinforced its cultural and religious traditions. However, his hesitation in dealing with the Spanish invasion and his perceived submissiveness to Cortés have led some historians to view him as a weak leader who failed to protect his people. Aztec and Spanish accounts differ on his personality and leadership. While Spanish sources often depict him as indecisive and superstitious, indigenous records present him as a deeply spiritual and tragic figure who faced an unprecedented foreign threat. Regardless of interpretation, Moctezuma's reign represents a turning point in Mesoamerican history. His rule marked the last days of a powerful civilization before European colonization reshaped the continent forever. Conclusion. Moctezuma II remains one of the most fascinating figures in world history. His reign was characterized by both grandeur and tragedy, as he ruled over one of the most sophisticated civilizations of the time yet failed to foresee the threat posed by European invaders. His story serves as a cautionary tale of power, fate, and the collision of two worlds, one that ultimately led to the destruction of the Aztec Empire and the beginning of Spanish rule in the Americas.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.